Earth has survived 2 alien invasions. It does not expect to survive a third. So above the planet, the military has built a school where children are trained to command the next war, and its best hope is a 6-year-old boy named Ender Wiggin. Ender will eventually save the human species, but only because the adults around him make sure he never understands what he is really doing. To see why that works, we have to begin with the way they study him. In Ender's world, most families are limited to 2 children. The government allowed the Wiggins a third because Ender's older brother and sister were both brilliant, but neither had the balance the military wanted. Ender was born as one more experiment. For years, a monitor in Ender's neck has let military officers see what he sees. When doctors remove it, Ender assumes he has failed their test. Instead, the removal creates a better test. What will he do when he believes no adult is watching? A larger boy named Stilson corners him after school. Ender knocks him down, then keeps striking after he falls. His reasoning is cold but defensive. If he wins only today, the next fight comes tomorrow. He wants to end all future fights at once. That logic frightens Ender because it resembles his brother Peter. Peter is gifted, charming when he chooses, and cruel when no one can stop him. Their sister Valentine protects Ender, and her compassion becomes the part of himself he is desperate not to lose. Colonel Graff arrives from the International Fleet and tells Ender the monitor was not a rejection. The military saw everything, including Stilson. Far from disqualifying him, Ender's ability to understand a threat and finish it completely is exactly why they want him. Ender does not leave because he wants glory. He leaves because Graff makes the choice feel impossibly simple: stay with Valentine and risk the destruction of Earth, or surrender his childhood for the chance to protect everyone he loves. On the flight to battle school, Graff praises Ender before the other recruits, painting a target on him. Graff believes a commander must stand alone, so isolation is not an accident of Ender's training. It is the method. Battle school circles Earth like a sealed military laboratory. Children sleep in barracks, study tactics, and compete in armies. Every score, friendship, and insult can be observed. The adults rarely intervene because they want pressure to reveal what ordinary teaching cannot. The battle room is a zero-gravity arena where teams freeze one another's suits with light guns. Most children enter thinking in terms of floors and walls. Ender notices that without gravity, direction is a choice, and a chosen direction can organize an entire army. He tells his friends to treat the enemy's gait as down. Now legs can face incoming fire, bodies can become shields, and every maneuver points toward the objective. Ender's first great advantage is not faster movement. It is deciding what the battlefield means. Ender begins to trust Eli, a calm and talented boy who treats him as an equal. Their friendship gives Ender the belonging he needs, but it also gives the teachers leverage. Each time he becomes comfortable, they move him somewhere harder. A private fantasy game studies him too. At one stage, a giant offers 2 drinks, but both choices kill the player. Ender stops accepting the rules, attacks the giant instead, and breaks into a part of the game no student was meant to reach. Ender enters Salamander Army under Bonzo Madrid, an older commander who sees him as an insult. Bonzo orders the inexperienced child to stay out of battle. Ender obeys the wording, studies everything, and still acts when the match depends on him. Rather than wait for official lessons, Ender keeps practicing with younger students. Petra teaches him precise shooting, while Dinkmeeker later gives him room to experiment. Ender improves because he collects useful ideas from people the system expects him to compete against. Back on Earth, Peter sees another game forming. When the alien war ends, old human rivalries will return. He persuades Valentine to publish political arguments under false identities. Peter becomes the moderate Locke, while Valentine writes the more aggressive Demosthenes. Their essays spread because the ideas sound older than their authors. Soon, adults in power are responding to 2 children they have never met. While Ender learns to command bodies in a game room, Peter and Valentine learn to command fear and opinion across Earth. At battle school, the fantasy king grows stranger. It builds a landscape from Ender's memories and gives a threatening figure Peter's face. The machine seems to understand that Ender's real enemy is not Peter himself, but the fear of becoming him. Then Graff gives Ender his own command. Dragon Army is filled with young, untested soldiers and burdened with rules no other army faces. It looks like a punishment disguised as a promotion which is exactly why Ender stops copying every commander who came before him. Ender divides Dragon into small units that can act independently. He wants leaders who understand the goal well enough to change the plan without waiting for permission. His army becomes dangerous because it can think in many places at once. The smallest soldier, Bean, questions Ender with the same irritating intelligence Ender once showed his own commanders. Ender recognizes himself and nearly repeats the teacher's mistake by isolating Bean. Instead, he gives the boy real responsibility, and another mind begins solving the battle beside him. Dragon Army's first opponents expect conventional formations. Ender's soldiers move in flexible groups, use frozen bodies as cover, and attack the gate instead of chasing points. They win because Ender has trained them to survive when the match is unfair. The victories come faster. Rest disappears. The teachers schedule battles with little warning and give the enemy better positions. Each attempt to exhaust Dragon only teaches it to adapt more quickly, so the adults must keep increasing the pressure. Finally, Dragon enters the room to find two enemy armies waiting together. Ender no longer treats the exercise as a contest worth respecting. He sends a small group straight to the gate, completes the victory condition, and ends the match before the ambush can matter. This is the pattern beneath every important victory. Stilson offers a fight, the giant offers a choice, and the teachers offer an unfair battle. Ender wins by identifying the rule that traps him, then acting outside it. The strategy works. The cost keeps rising. Bonzo cannot accept the humiliation. He corners Ender alone in the shower, where the wet floor and Bonzo's greater size should decide the fight. Ender provokes him into attacking carelessly, strikes once, and keeps going until he believes the danger can never return. The adults take Ender away without telling him Bonzo is dead. As with Stilson, they hide the consequence while preserving the lesson. Ender only knows he is tired of solving problems through permanent destruction, and he refuses to keep playing. Graf brings him back to Earth and asks Valentine to reach him. She genuinely loves Ender, but the conversation is still arranged by the military. Even his safest relationship has become part of the training system. Ender understands this and chooses to continue anyway. On the journey to command school, Ender learns the third invasion is not an enemy fleet approaching Earth. Human ships were launched toward Formic worlds years ago. The children are not preparing a defense. They are preparing to command an attack already in motion. Command school is hidden on Eros, a former Formic outpost. There Ender meets Mazer Rackham, the commander who stopped the previous invasion. Mazer explains that the Formics act through queens, with entire fleets responding like parts of one body. Mazer won by striking the queen and watching the fleet collapse. The lesson gives Ender more than a tactic. It gives him a model of the enemy's mind. To defeat the Formics, he must understand what the whole species protects. Ender begins a new series of simulations. At first he controls ships directly, but the scale soon becomes impossible for one person. His closest battle school friends return as squadron leaders, turning Dragon Army's independent command structure into a fleet spread across star systems. Day after day, Ender studies unfamiliar planets, loses ships, and faces stronger formations. The simulated crews become numbers on a screen, because there is no emotional space left to imagine the people inside them. Ender believes exhaustion is the final subject of the test. His fleet carries a molecular disruption weapon. When fired at close range, it breaks matter apart, and the reaction spreads through nearby matter. Against a tight cluster of ships, it can erase a formation. Against a planet, no one wants to say what it might do. The campaigns continue until Ender barely eats or sleeps. He loves his commanders, yet he has to spend their forces as pieces. Because he thinks the battles are artificial, his remaining rebellion is simple: finish the course, fail if necessary, and finally be free. For the final test, a Formic world appears behind a fleet far larger than Ender's own. Senior officers gather behind him. Ender sees no honorable victory, so the only way to reject the game is to make it impossible to continue. He orders most of his ships forward as shields. Formic fire tears them apart, but the wreckage gives a few fighters enough cover to reach the planet. Ender is not trying to preserve his army. He is trying to deliver one weapon to one point. The device fires. A small area of the planet begins to collapse. Then the reaction races outward. The world breaks apart. The surrounding Formic ships fall silent. Ender turns from the screen, expecting punishment for destroying the rules of the test. Instead, the room erupts in celebration. Mazer tells him there was no final simulation. There had not been one for weeks. Through instantaneous communication, Ender has been commanding the real invasion fleet, and the world he destroyed was the Formic homeworld. The officers defend the deception with brutal logic. Had Ender known real lives depended on every order, empathy might have made him hesitate or break. Calling it a game let them use his understanding without allowing conscience to interfere. Humanity is safe, but Ender does not feel like a hero. He sleeps, wakes, and grieves for an enemy he understood only at the moment he erased it. The quality that made him the perfect commander is also what makes the victory unbearable. Later, Ender learns Stilson, and Bonzo died too. The news joins every stage of his training into one line. Adults placed him inside a threat, trusted him to finish it permanently, and hid the result until it could no longer change his choice. The alien war ends, and human unity fractures. Peter's locked persona helps shape the new order, while Valentine keeps Ender from returning as anyone's military symbol. He has saved Earth, but Earth is no longer a safe home for him. Valentine joins a colony ship bound for one of the former Formic worlds, and Ender goes with her as its young governor. For the first time, his mission is not to defeat an enemy. It is to understand the civilization whose future he stole. On the colony world, Ender finds a landscape copied from the fantasy game, the giant, the castle, and the images drawn from his own mind. The Formics had reached through the game, using the only language available to guide him towards something they had preserved. Hidden there is the cocoon of a surviving queen. Through images and feelings, she shows Ender that the Formics had not understood individual humans during their first attacks. Once they recognized humanity as conscious life, they did not intend to invade again. Ender writes their story as the Hive Queen and signs it Speaker for the Dead. He carries the cocoon between worlds, searching for a safe beginning. Earth made a child into its deadliest weapon. Ender chooses to keep what that weapon almost erased. If Ender's story stayed with you, like the video and subscribe for more science fiction stories. And tell me in the comments, was Ender responsible for what happened? Or was he another victim of the adults who used him?